Again, I'll make a brief statement and then take questions. You know, it was a good win, not pretty throughout. I liked how we started the game. I liked how we came out and started the second half. You know, one thing we've talked about all week was starting fast, and I thought our kids did that. I thought they were ready to play. I liked their energy, enthusiasm early on. I thought we executed well, and you know, we gotta get better, much better at finishing games. So while I would prefer to start fast, if given the choice between the two and getting the W, you know, we got to play for 60 minutes and put people away when we can. So again, I've said this before, it'll never be perfect, and there'll always be things that we've got to continue to work on from week to week. That'll be something we'll need to address, and will be addressed when we get back with the players here on Monday. You know, again, going into the month of November, I think I see guys getting better individually, collectively, as units, and as a team. We're still making some mistakes that we've got to clean up. Specifically, one that comes to the top of my mind is our punt return game. So, you know, we'll continue to work at that this week. I was extremely disappointed in how we execute punt return this afternoon, and I'm sure everybody else was. But again, it was a good win. Gets us to 3-1 in the conference, 4-4 overall, heading into the month of November. One thing personnel-wise that I'll address, I'm sure it'll be asked. Dwayne Peace this past week has been suspended from games indefinitely. He committed 2 rules violations within our program. One was last Thursday, which I found out about on Friday, the day after our last game, and one was this past Monday. So that is why you did not see him out there this afternoon. So, you know, when you talk about winning and losing football games, unfortunately, I talked a lot about turnovers for the last 9 or 10 days or so, and again, I think that was a difference in the game tonight. You know, we created 6 with our defense, and I believe we had 2. So that again, when you're +4 in a game in the turnover margin, statistically, you've got a great chance to win. No, Charles had a minor, sustained a minor leg injury early in the second half. Played through it for the series that it occurred within and the next series. And then medically, we made the decision, our medical staff made the decision that he needed to come out of the game.
Well, I'll go back to Peace later. Just as far as the game goes, Coach, to be ahead 38, and you mentioned to finish strong. I mean, was there anything in particular that you saw that it just was it a lack of, you know, when you got ahead, maybe some players got comfortable, or did you see anything there that kind of led you to why those points were given up like that at the end?
You know, I think it was a combination of a number of things. I think some satisfaction did set in on the sidelines. I felt that. I think you know, we come out, and again, I don't know if this is just my opinion I'm giving. I don't know if it's a correlation or not, but we come out in the second half. We're up 35-7 at halftime. We come out in the second half. We score 10 points pretty quickly, and then Charles Sims goes out of the game as well. And you know, I'm not so sure. On our sideline, some of our players didn't think maybe I pulled him out of the game, thinking the game was out of reach, but that was not certainly not the case at that point. You know, we're driving down the field, and all of a sudden we get a bad snap and you know, a turnover there. We're driving down the field, and we get a flagrant personal foul and an ejection. So. You know, I'm not, there's no excuses. I think you add all those things together, and instead of winning the game by 40, we win the game by 10 points.
Coach, that package that you have with sometimes 2 running backs in the backfield, sometimes 3 running backs in the backfield, what's that package called? And is the point of the package to get Sims and Farrell on the field at the same time?
Well, absolutely. The package you're referring to, I believe, is what we call Diamond, and we actually have 3 running backs in there at times. And Terrell Douglas, who's been a great special teams player for us, was injured a week and a half ago in practice, so he didn't play in the last game. He didn't play tonight. Braxton Welford, who's been a great special teams player for us, early in the game after UTEP's first touchdown, they kicked a pop-up kickoff to Braxton, and he sustained a leg injury on their sideline when he was out of bounds, so he was out for the rest of the game. And then Charles got the leg injury the first series of the second half, so we were down to Ryan Jackson and Kenneth Farrow. So we were a little bit limited with our creativity with the 3-back stuff. That's why you saw some of Larry McDuffie in the 3-back sets as well. He won't be mistaken for a running back, but he was back there at times. But we call that set Diamond.
Can you talk about the misdirection and how it helped you in the play action game?
Well, the misdirection, again, it's a way to get our quick players in space, one-on-one, ideally on a safety. In Charles Sims, the second series where he had the long touchdown run on the first play of the drive was another misdirection play that our offensive staff put in this week. It's the same play we put in for North Texas, but we ran it out of a different look, out of a different formation. And got the very similar results. So, misdirection not only helps in the run game, but as you alluded to, now when you start getting them focused on which way the line's going, which way the backs are going, and even when we motion a receiver, sometimes in front of the backs and our quarterbacks, sometimes behind them, that tends to play with linebackers' eyes, and when you can run naked and run play action and freeze those linebackers, it really helps. Like we did with the long one, coming off of a turnover, the long one we threw down the middle to Larry McDuffie was off of play action. We were able to freeze the linebackers with a play fake and throw it over their heads to Larry.
Can you talk about the plays that DJ Hayden has made the last 2 weeks?
Well, and I've said this about DJ Hayden for the last couple of weeks. He's a guy that's a senior. He's a guy that's a captain. He's a young man that's only been in our program now going on to his second year as he was a junior college transfer. And again, he's a guy, and again, it's hard for people to believe this, but he's getting better every week. And again, he started the season playing extremely well. Again, probably had one of his better games in our second game of the year against Louisiana Tech. And their receiver is one of the best in the country. But he's getting better every week. He makes play after play after play. He means a lot to our defense, to our team, a lot of energy. He's the guy that at the beginning of practice, at the beginning of the game, calls the team up and gets them broken down before we split up and get going.
It seemed like whenever I looked up, Philip Stewart was in their backfield. Just what did y'all see, or was it just something he was able to do?
No, we made an adjustment this week, and something Joseph asked me about the other day, and trying to get some more production from our defensive end position. We actually put in a new package this week where Philip played defensive end on third down and long situations. So he was standing up, so he may not have looked to the naked eye like he was a defensive end, but we had a defensive end come out. Philip went down and played that rush off the edge, and then we were able to put Adrian McDonald in basically in his position on that second level.
Tony, it seemed like a week ago you guys were kind of in a similar situation as them with the turnovers and the points off, but to get that kind of production from your team, the 4 picks and a couple of fumbles, and turn them into points, you just talk about what that meant to have that kind of production out of your defense today and force those turnovers?
Well, it meant a lot, and again, it's something we've been talking about. It's something, I feel like you're as good as your last game, so we weren't very good when we woke up this morning. Until we got the chance to play again, and after the game was over, and Coach Price told me at midfield, he said, I felt tonight like you must have last Thursday, and that's football. You turn the ball over more than the other team, you're probably not going to win the game, And you know, for our defense to step up and take the football away, you know, for DJ Hayden to score in 2 consecutive games, that was a huge play in the game. They were down, you know, in the tight red zone, 3rd down. Coach Bryant calls a cover 0 blitz, and DJ steps in front and takes it 97 yards. That was a huge play at the time. So, you know, I'm proud of them. Again, it's something we always talk about. It didn't work out that way in our last game, and you know, we continue to do that. We'll continue to have success and have the results we want.
Coach, your defense came out really fired up in the first half. I mean, it was obvious. But do you think they kind of slowed down or felt comfortable in the second half? We're giving up those 3 touchdowns.
Well,
pretty
you know,
quickly, or do you think there was other reasons behind that?
You know, again, I go back to a similar question earlier. I think it was a combination of things. You know, and again, you know, I give them some credit as well. They had a couple trick plays that they executed extremely well, and that's no excuse. You know, and I thought, again, this is not an excuse either. But I want to say at halftime, even though we had 35 points, I want to say we had the ball for 7 minutes, meaning our defense at half had already been on the field 22 or 23 minutes. So, again, it's no excuse. I want to say the time of possession was somewhere around 20 for us and 40 for them. So, again, I don't want to sound like I'm talking out both sides of my mouth and saying that, well, they were tired, because they certainly weren't tired. You know, they finished the game and they were flying around and making plays at the end. But, you know, I think it was a combination of a number of things. You know, did some satisfaction and complacency, set in on the sideline. I feel like I felt that a little bit in the second half when it was 45-7. You know, and that's my responsibility not to let that happen, and that's something that'll be addressed when we get back as a team on Monday.
On the punts, do you have any? I mean, irrespective of when you see what's going on out there, and the guy cleared people. I mean, it's just a matter of people not watching, or I mean, you figure out the last 2 games what's going on with that.
Well, you know, I think you're talking about your questions about what's going on with our punt return game, and you know, it's embarrassing, I think, as a coach, and I shouldn't say I think, it's embarrassing as a coach when you coach things during the week in practice, they need to show up and be executed by your young men in the games, you know, and we're not getting that right now in the punt return game, and as a coach, you've got to look in the mirror before you do anything else, you know, so we're going to have to do a better job at that this week. You know, the first punt was a short punt, very similar to the one in the SMU game. And like you said, Joseph, and you're right, our punt returner is yelling, "Peter, Peter, Peter," and he's waving his arms, and everybody's getting away. And then he runs over and picks up the ball. So, which is not something we want him to do. So, and then on the next one, you know, again, I think he misjudged it a little bit. You know, the tip of the ball turned over with the wind, which is going to drift to the left, and you know, we didn't get a good jump on it. We didn't get over there. There was some traffic there. He pulled off, and you know, those guys got to do. You know, there was not one where he would be waving his arms. He signaled for fair catch. So those are situations in the punt return game that you know, we've got to get better coaching them, and we've got to get better executing them. Ty Cloud did not have an explanation, did not know why he was ejected from the game, no. I didn't see what happened. I'm going to have to look at the video to see what they called exactly.